All right, got some noise going on here. You find out where that's coming from. I don't want to be going back on myself. Let's see here. All right, let's see here. Oh, there we go. That's why. Okay, got 3 different streams going on. All right. All right. We're doing it. The inaugural Brian Show. I'm your host, of course, Brian. Maybe you'll learn my last name, maybe you won't. I don't know. I'm going to just keep it at that. Saying hi to all the Brians out there, B-R-I-A-Ns and B-R-Y-A-Ns. And any other spelling of the name. I appreciate you tuning in. This is just an experiment that I wanted to do. I've wanted to do something like this for a while. I've always been somebody that likes to perform and just likes to talk to people and likes to talk and like to analyze things and think about things and talk about things and play music and just kind of do whatever I do. And I think this is the perfect medium for it. So it's going to be an experiment. I'm going to try to do it every Wednesday from 8 to 9. And, as more people tune in, I'd like to try and get some guests and just have some fun. So welcome and thanks for tuning in again. I'm going to be playing some music here. And the song you heard up the top was a song that I wrote called Breakdance King. And I figured it's a good stopgap for a theme song. And it was a royalty-free song that any royalties will go to me. And any of the performers on the track, and there are a couple of them on there, and maybe I'll shout them out at some point, whether they want me to. So that's that. We're just gonna keep doing things, and I mean, mainly what I want to do is make America great again, and keep America great. I think that's a key principle of my ethos. I don't think there's enough right-wing media out there, and I think there needs to. No, I'm just kidding. That's not what I'm going to be doing. In fact, I'll probably be doing the opposite of that. I don't know how political I'm going to get, but I'm certainly not going to go with that orange guy and listen to him or talk about him, because he takes up too much of my time. And I think about what's going on in the world, and he takes up a lot of my bandwidth, and I don't like that. But unfortunately, he's doing exactly what he wants to do. So, and he's making it difficult sometimes to navigate the world. But that's okay. We'll keep on keeping on and having fun and doing what we do. So I think there's a chat set up. If you go to the YouTube thing, let's see. I also set up a Twitter, and it's actually, if you search the Brian Show, I think it's the Brian Show 2, because I guess there was already a Brian Show, but that's okay. So I no one's followed me back yet, so maybe I'll get a follower or two. But you start small and grow. It can't all start at 100, because if it starts at 100, then where do you go? So So that's that. I'm just posting that on Twitter now. So get the word out if you like. Listen in. And if there are any problems or anything, let me know. Also, one thing I'm going to say is hey Jesse, what's up? Got the first comment, my first comment ever. So you should be proud of yourself. And he's a big fan. He's a big fan. I think he voted for Donald Trump too, unfortunately. But I think there's got to be but we're still friends. Well, actually, I don't know it. I don't have any close friends that voted for Donald Trump. Anyway, he's taking up too much of my bandwidth. Why am I talking about that idiot? But what I'm going to do is I think what I'm going to do is, because not everybody has the capability or the desire to try and listen to a YouTube live show. So what I want to do, I think, so I mean, just to kind of start, a little background is, I'm a person, and I'm in one of the states or one of the countries that sounds like me. That doesn't really have much of an accent, at least to me. So I'm either Canadian or from the United States, or I'm an expat living in England, or an expat living in Thailand, or all the above. So that's you can take your guess from there. I'm pretty sure that if somebody did enough digging, they could kind of figure out where I'm from, or where I'm at, or where I'm broadcasting from, which bunker in the salt flats of Utah somewhere, or somewhere out west, like Art Bell, but or maybe not, west of the Rockies, east of the Rockies. Let me know if you're east of the Rockies or west of the Rockies. And so I'm just gonna I just talk and have fun, and just kind of let it go as it goes. So it's telling me that YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming, but that's okay. That's why I wanted to do audio only. So with that out of the way, with that little extra, with that introduction, I just want to, what did I want to talk about today? I have my notes here, and I know it's unprofessional to reference those, but I'm not a professional. But I know what I was going to say is, I was in downtown in a city the other day, and it was by the courthouse, and in front of this particular courthouse, there are always people that are always testing the boundaries of free speech, so to speak, and a lot of it is preaching, and they have a bone to pick with some prosecutor or some attorney or some judge, and they're always out there yelling and screaming, and that's nothing new. And I was walking by, but in this particular instance, I saw this guy, and I'm looking at the picture right now. It says he has this gigantic sign, and it's probably if he's 6 foot tall, 5'8", it's probably a 5 foot by 4 foot, 5 foot by 5 foot sign, and it says, "I want to fuck Yailin Ayala." So it's "come on Eileen," but Yailin, in the pussy -ass &mouth. And then in between "I want to fuck" and Yailin Ayala, it says Department of Revenue Child Support Enforcement. So I saw him, and I walked a little bit, and I said, I got to take a picture of this guy. So I went up to him, and I was polite. I said, "Excuse me, you mind if I take a picture?" And he says, No. So he turns the sign to me, and there was something on the back of the sign too I didn't get a chance to look at. But I should have got him to turn around, but I was on my way out. But I took a picture of it. But I noticed, in my pedantic way that I am, that it said pussy -ass ampersand. Is ampersand the and symbol? It's not the at symbol, right? whatever it is. I think it's ampersand, but pussy, ass, and mouth. But except it's the symbol. I think it's ampersand. And normally it would say pussy, comma, ass, comma, and mouth. So that it's a series. But I asked him, did you mean pussy? Like what do you mean by that? Are you saying pussy ass? Like you're calling her a pussy ass, or you want to fuck her pussy ass? Is there something about that particular piece of anatomy that is something that is a pussy ass, or is it just pussy, ass, and mouth? And he said, no. It's pussy, then ass, then mouth, in that order. So that's the ampersand. I guess I'm getting word that that's the ampersand. So it's the pussy, then the ass, then the mouth, in that order. And that was about all I wanted to talk to him about. I mean, I didn't really want to get into it because obviously this guy has a big problem with not only Yayin Ayala, but the Department of Revenue and Child Support Enforcement. And I'm thinking, if he has that much trouble paying for his children and he feels like he's being railroaded, I mean, why does he want to keep having sex with this woman? And I know it's going to be in a demeaning fashion. I know that. I mean, obviously he's not going to caress her tenderly, but it was just weird. I don't know. So that was my experience of the week, and it was one of those. Didn't expect to see that. I also stayed home from work yesterday. Didn't feel good. My first sick day at this job. And that's always a weird thing to take your first sick day because you don't know how they're going to react. And well, actually, here's the thing. Here's the thing about me is I always blow things out of proportion, and I worry about things that I shouldn't worry about, including I always feel like I'm going to get fired, even though I've never been fired from a job in my life, and I do the best I can. I do a good job. But that's just the way I am. That's a little look into me. But in this instance, I just couldn't go in and feel good. So I called in and said, hey, I'm not coming in today. And they said, okay, hope you feel better. And don't worry, I did some work from home because I can't just, turn that off. But I feel much better today. I'm still not 100% though. But, but what sucks is I couldn't sleep very well. And I slept, and so my neck has been killing me all day, and it's just been one of those things. I'm just like, shit, like why can't? It's like one thing after another, but that's okay. It's not really, but
your neck is fine.
It got me thinking about how we blow things out of proportion, and it got me thinking about the Buddhist precepts of the Four Noble Truths. And one of them is, the first one is life is suffering. The second one is all suffering is caused by something. Let me look it up. I can't remember. I was looking at it yesterday, and I let's see. It's Buddhism Four Noble Truths. That's what they're called. Right. So I know the first one is life is suffering. That's the one I most agree with. But no, life is suffering. The truth, the cause of the suffering is want. You can cease the suffering by following the Eightfold Path, but yeah, noble truth, the origin of suffering. So. Yeah, I was just looking at this yesterday. Why can't I remember it? That's okay. You guys are here with me. Yeah, life is suffering. The cause of suffering is craving and fundamental ignorance. That's it. The end of suffering is it can be ended, and the way to do it is the Eightfold Path. But I think more generally is when they say life is suffering, they don't mean that life is always torturous, or that life is always something where you are in pain or sad. But if you think about it, most of your life is spent at kind of a medium level, and then you have moments of extreme happiness, and those don't last that long. They last, however long they last. And then you have moments of extreme sadness, death in the family, anything that causes extreme sadness, a breakup or the relationship and things like that. Then everything else is kind of a hill and a valley off of the center line. But I think that first precept most represents the human condition, and represents kind of how accurately humans operate, including myself. So I was thinking about that yesterday, and I thought, well, life is suffering, right? And meaning that there's going to be things that are unfulfilled. People are unfulfilled. People don't fulfill me. I don't fulfill them. So why do I put so much importance? It kind of comes down to looking within and being able to operate by yourself, not in a solo way, but kind of operate through your through your just kind of operate through your brain and kind of filter out the BS and trust yourself. And I think that's part of it, is learning how to trust yourself. And so getting back to calling in sick, I thought, well, here's what's going to happen is I'm going to call in sick. They're going to say that I'm not serious about working. They're going to have a sit down with me. Then I'm going to get fired the next day. And then I'm going to never get another job. I'm going to be left penniless, homeless. My wife is going to leave me. And then I'll die in a gutter. And that all stems from calling in sick, which is not obviously going to happen. So in thinking about kind of how the Buddhist principles work, and I do say Buddhist instead of Buddhist because I took a class on Buddhism in undergrad, and the professor, very white professor, by the way, but knew a lot, made a point of saying, very good professor, but he made a point of saying it's pronounced Buddhism, not Buddhism. So whenever I talked about it, it was Buddhism, and now all I say is Buddhism, and I sound like a jerk. So Buddhism, Buttism, whatever. So the cause of suffering is craving and fundamental ignorance. I think the cause of suffering is just being alive, because if you're dead, you can't suffer. At least on the human plane, whatever lies beyond, I don't know. I think I know, but I don't know for sure. And then the third one, the end of suffering, suffering is temporary, which I think is true up to a point. I don't think you can cease all suffering until you die. But to me, it provides a nice psychological framework, because then I can kind of work within it and say, okay, well, how do I maximize my happiness? How do I maximize what I do for myself? How do I cultivate these relationships? And part of it is with talking to you and listening to you and interacting in a creative, non-judgmental, no holds barred kind of way. I think that that's sorely lacking these days. But what's that phrase you see on Facebook that everybody attributes to the Dalai Lama? Or is it Gandhi? The Dalai Lama? Somebody. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Yeah, it's cliche, but it's true. I mean, I could complain, but what I'm going to do is try and not necessarily be an agent of change, because I don't know if I can change anybody. I don't want to change anybody. But I can, man, those are gross noises, aren't they? I'm sorry. I'm snorting. I need a mute button or something. But at least, I can just have fun with this. So in my rambling way, let me start from, called in sick, going to lose my job, life sucks. Not always. And that's kind of where we are. And but here's what also sucks is I woke up and my neck was killing me. So I felt better like in a body way. But it was one of those things where okay, well now my body feels less achy and weak and but now, my neck hurts. So what are you going to do? So I don't know. So what should we do now? I mean,
why can't you just man up?
I mean, it's one of those things where am I going to
quit
play some
being an
music
idiot
or keep talking? I don't know. Let's. I kind of want to get a glass of water, and I have a glass right next to me, but I have to find the perfect spot, a good time to take a drink because here's another fear that I have is I'm normal in real life. I'm not afraid of silence. I don't mind sitting in a car with somebody not saying anything. But in this medium, hey, look, I just did it. I was saying in this medium, I feel like silence is not good. But let's experiment. Oh boy, that was good. So that was me drinking water. So you might want to use that for your own if you have a sound effects bank or something, and you can use that if you'd like. So let's see what we got here. All right, more silence. All right. So I talked about Jolene, and but I'll put it out there for you guys. Like, how do you deal with just the everyday? What are some of your tips and tricks? What do you do? I like to try to exercise if I can. I like to try to work out. I like to try to read. I like to try to do creative things like this. I think that's it. I mean, is there a whole lot more you can do? Drugs, maybe. Legal or an illegal, probably not that smart to do, but they are what they are. And but I'm not really into that. But if it works for you, it works for you. So.
Why are you the way you are? Knack, knack, knack.
Yeah. So, well, let's see here. I think I'm going to play a song. I'm going to play a song that from the same band I was in at the time. And this is from a few years ago. And see how you like it. Whoops. Hold on. Let me turn it up. Crank it up.
as I'm speaking. What do you think if I fill in a wedgie? Wedgie. Grandma tampon, grandma tampon. Grandma tampon, grandma tampon. Grandma tampon, grandma tampon. That fucking sucked. That fucking sucked.
Oh, it just kind of cut out, didn't it? I was going to try and reduce the volume, kind of fade it out a little bit in a nice, dignified manner, but it was not. I felt like somebody gave me a wedgie. Sorry about that. I guess there's no reason to bring that up, but that's the way it is. So, I was reading online newspaper the other day, a real newspaper, but it was online, and I thought this was a very interesting article. It says white nationalists spread hate harassment from parents' home, and this guy from his parents' home in one of Florida's sprawling subdivisions, Daniel McMahon spent his days spinning sick fantasies online. 31-year-old avowed fascist dreamed of an ethno-state where non-whites would be eliminated and women would be subservient to men. And he denied the Holocaust, was harassing a bunch of people up in Virginia. He faces federal charges of interference with a candidate for elective office. And, of course, his attorney is saying that it's First Amendment. We'll see how far he gets with that argument. But he cheered on mass shooters, denigrated minorities and women, and plotted to harass activists. But I thought the biggest thing was that he was doing it from his parents' home. He's 31 years old. If you look at this guy, he's got a beard. He's got, he just looks like a regular dude. But like, what causes somebody to do something like that? I mean, at what point do you just give up? At 31, you give up and you're like, well, I'm going to just sit in my room and disconnect from society. And I don't know if he drinks alcohol or Mountain Dew or smokes weed all the time or whatever he does, but why? What? I don't have enough time in the day to worry about what whether or not there's a need for a white ethno state. I mean, I'm generally against it, and if called upon, I would defend against it. But it's not something that I think about a lot, where I would seek it out, like-minded people, and start arguing for or against it. I think there's a big disconnect there, and we all know that. I mean, I'm not saying anything new or novel, but the fact that he was basically a loser in his parents' house, not doing anything, and doing this. It's like, if you're gonna do that, at least help out around the house a little bit, and don't spend so much time online, or at least try to get a job. But he wasn't. But I thought that was interesting. In the what a loser scenario. So he's, let's see here, he faces federal charges. Right, a Pasco County Sheriff's detective serving with the task force testified in the federal courthouse that her son didn't like African Americans, Jews, or gay people, according to the Associated Press. She also worried he could become a mass shooter. So why didn't the parents try and do something about it? Why are they letting this guy just sit there in it was not a basement because it's in Florida, but why are they letting him sit there in some back room, just doing bullshit? And it says he's been involved in the far right circles going back as far as 2013, and he just wanted to take Florida by storm, as he said. So, this guy's a piece of shit, and I hope they throw the book at him. But what are you gonna do? So, I think what I want to do is, at some point in the night, I'm going to try and play a few very popular songs and see how YouTube's what is it called? The flagging system works, and see if I get flagged with copyright. So this game is called Will I Get Flagged? Will I be here next week? So let's the first contestant is going to be a band called, we're going to start slow, so we're going to start low on the totem pole. It's a band. I'm not going to start with Drake or Beyonce or Michael Jackson or any humongous pop star. I'm going to start with a local, not a local band, but a more indie band that doesn't have such a fan base. So I wonder if if I played the Beatles, I would probably get banned. But let's see. So this is I'm not gonna play the whole song. I just want to see what we got. But it's a band called Sebadoh, and the song is called "License to Confuse" off the I think it's a 1994 album. It's a great song. See if we get banned.
Like I've been letting it down, like I've been letting it slide. Just some mountain
Make America great again, make America great again, make America great again, make America great again.
Well, I guess I did play the whole song. It was only a minute and however many seconds long. So I'm still on, according to YouTube. Let's see if they take it out tomorrow. But it says, let's see. Heads up, we detected copyrighted audio in your stream. Your stream may be temporarily blocked. Oh boy. Okay, well, how about that? Okay, so Sebadoh is a big copyrighted band, so good to know. So if you don't hear from me for temporarily, then maybe I've been shut down by YouTube. I don't know how to make that. I'll have to look into that. I mean, it's really like, come on, why am I? I'm just, I'm playing here. I'm talking. So anyway, and what if I want to comment on it? Like, why do I have to? Stop what I'm. It's a fair. I'm fairly commenting on, is what I'm saying. But anyway, does anybody still have a CD player anymore? I still have some CD. I have all my CDs, and I think I want to get a CD player because, I think they're the best quality. Personally, I mean, I think digital is really good too. I'm not a humongous vinyl fan. I like vinyl just as much as the next guy or gal. And I have a vinyl player, and I use it a lot. I utilize it a lot. But I think the CDs were the best of all the mediums because you don't have to worry about streaming. You don't have to worry about quality because MP3s are compressed. And when MP3s first came out, they were really compressed because people had a lot less memory on their computers. And now they're pretty comparable with CD quality sound, and you can't really tell the difference. But if you listen to, if you really are familiar with a song and you listen to a CD versus like an MP3, even if it's slightly compressed, you can tell the difference. And I think with vinyl, for the fidelity to be as good as it is, or people say, "Oh, this is great." Yeah, and you're right. I think you get artwork with CDs too, and I don't think Lou Barlow would care either. The lead singer of Sebadoh, but whoever is monitoring this, whatever algorithm is monitoring it and doing something with it. But what I was saying is I think for vinyl you need to have some kind of really good stereo equipment. Otherwise, if it's just so, I just don't really see how. Yes, it's warmer in the sense that there's not as much treble and it's a little more. It's kind of a hard thing to pin down what warmth is, but I get it. But that's more of a sonic understanding, or not a sonic like a sonic feeling you get when you're listening. And if you're listening to a record from the 70s or the 60s, of course you want it to sound a little more analog. Maybe that's what it is. It sounds a little more analog. But anyway, so CDs, I think, had the best bang for your buck as far as fidelity goes. And a CD was only 45 minutes to 60 minutes, 70 on the at the extreme end. And so you throw a CD in, you're not going to be sitting there for 6 hours. Whereas a lot of albums today, they could cut 3 or 4 songs and it would still be over an hour. The new Tool album came out, which I don't think is all that great, and I know some people are really like it. I don't think it's all that great, but and I've listened to it a couple times, but it's so fucking long. It's such a long album, and it's a slog. And they could have done away with at least one song, which I think the shortest song was like 15 minutes or something. But nobody needs, unless you're going to do a double album. I mean, albums back in the 60s and the 70s when you only had however many, 20 minutes, 25 minutes per side at the most. The albums were, they were quick, relatively speaking. I'm looking at Revolver and Van Halen 1 and other albums I really like, Aja by Steely Dan. They kind of run the spectrum, run the gamut, and they're like 39 minutes, 45 minutes. They're not that long, so they put all the best stuff on there, as opposed to like, well, I got all these songs, I may as well put them on there because I have no time limit. I think sometimes the time limit is good, just like I'm giving myself an hour for this show, and I'm struggling to fill it. I feel like maybe you feel differently, but it's a learning process. But I think I would rather have like 5 good songs than or 8 good songs than like 8 good songs and 4 so-so songs. Those are for the EP. And you can make more money that way. But no, so the CDs have the highest fidelity, I think, more than vinyl. But what was great about CDs and what, quote, kids these days that didn't grow up with cassettes don't realize is that cassettes sucked. They didn't sound that great. They were portable. That was about it. They were always snapping and breaking and getting all and it was getting all tangled up, and you could only record onto it once, and then you play it, and the quality gradually goes down. And if you wanted to skip a song, you had to physically hit the rewind or the fast forward button, and it would move it. And some cassette players had detection mechanisms where it could find the space in between the songs, but even that you still had to wait for it to fast forward, and it just wasn't good. And so when CDs got big, I remember when I first got my CD player, I was like, yes, I don't have to sit there and rewind and fast forward, and I didn't have a real good speaker system, but you could definitely tell the difference, and you could crank it up louder, I thought. And CDs are portable too. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like my streaming, I like my Spotify's and such, but it's one of those things where I think you're sacrificing fidelity. So when I'm recording music, I think of in terms of
you are no good at anything.
Sides and not even sides as much. I don't really think of side A or side B, just because I'm so disconnected from it. But I try to sequence an album as if I was listening to it straight through, as opposed to front loading it with all the good songs and sticking all the songs you're not so hot about. Because most of the time, songs that you're not so hot about at first, if you go back and listen, you're like, well, that's actually a pretty good song. Boy, I should have put that first, or something like that. But I try to record it and master it as if I was burning it to a CD, as opposed to streaming, because streaming is inevitably going to get compressed. So that's just kind of my thing on that. And you can't beat the artwork on vinyl. I mean, if you just sit there and look at it, it's really cool. And I think that's where they got you beat on that. They got, at least tapes beat. Although I will say one thing I like about tapes is whenever you got a brand new tape, a cassette, there's always a certain smell to that inside card where that folded out, which it's kind of, I don't know what the smell is. Benzene? Is it some kind of chemical that they use to treat the paper with? Is it the smell of the tape? I don't know what it is, but there's a certain smell that I always really enjoyed. So I don't think they're still making cassettes anymore. Although that's not true. Some bands, for some ungodly reason, and I understand that they're a little younger, so it's more of a novelty. some bands are putting out cassettes, and whenever I go to shows and I see that, I'm like, I'm not gonna buy that cassette. What am I gonna do with that cassette? I'm just gonna sit. I don't even have a cassette. Actually, I do have a cassette player, but I don't use it because I don't like cassettes, even though I still have all my cassettes. But I'm never gonna get rid of my CDs. I just don't think I will. I don't think that. I mean, I know a lot of people have, and they've used them to they've either uploaded them to the cloud or uploaded them onto their iTunes or whatever the next iTunes is. But I mean, they take up a little bit of space in the closet, but they're not really, I figure at some point they'll make a comeback, or if they don't, at least I'll have them, and I'll have, all my CDs, and they're going to last forever. At least the ones that I burned, the newest ones, the ones that you buy from the store, not the ones that you burn, those last forever. So, as long as you keep them in their case. So that's that. I mean, that's kind of my take on cassettes. I know it's a controversial one. And I know I really ruffled a lot of feathers, but this is Trump's America, and we got to keep America great and make America great again, or some shit. I'm not quite sure what he means by that. Make America great again. Okay, is that what he's done? And then he's keeping America great. So why is he always tweeting about making America great again? If he thinks that America is great now, why doesn't he just want to keep America great? That's a question I would ask him. That's a question I would ask Donald Trump. Hey, I'm back to him, but it's on my mind, so I'm going to talk about it. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to say what I say. I don't care who it offends. I don't care who it offends. Okay, I went from Buddhism to copyrighted music, to keep America great, and back to it, and back and forth, and back and forth. I don't care who I offend. I think people that say I don't care who I offend really just mean that they want to offend somebody, and they're really looking to offend somebody. So, they kind of put that preface out there that the disclaimer, I don't care who I offend, which is kind of is a flag that says, look, I'm saying offensive things, and whatever. I think it's got the lowest form of humor, but they don't care. They don't care who they offend. I hope I don't offend anybody, but I probably do, just by nature of being alive. I think everybody's offensive to somebody. And that's one of the four noble truths. That's the fifth noble truth, actually, that everybody's offensive to somebody. And that's one of the Buddhist principles that I think the four noble truths, says, let's recap. The first one is life is suffering. Second is you can cease suffering by making America great again. The third one is you can make America great again by keeping America great again. And then the fourth one is you can cease the suffering by following the eightfold GOP platform. And then the fifth one is you're probably offensive to somebody in this world. So I think that's the takeaway for tonight. So let's see what we got. Let me. I bet I can. There's got to be some kind of copyright. I mean, I kind of want to. I'll get to it next week. I wanted to talk about a song here that I thought was interesting, but let's see how long I can go with this song before I get tagged. Let's see. This one's really popular.
Oh
my God, Becky, look at her butt. Let's see if I can keep them from doing it. It was one of those rap guys, girlfriends, Prostitute. Oh, I'm still there. I like big. Oh, not yet. Okay, here we go. Whoop. I'm trying to mess up the stream here and the algorithm. Whoa. Two, I like big butts and I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny. When a girl walks in with an itty bitty face and a white thing in your face, you get sprung. His nigga's round. And swearing. Got swearing. Okay, so let's see. I mean, I got a couple minutes. I think there's a delay. Let's wait a couple seconds to see if it catches on. I don't think it caught. I think I got away with it. Let's see. Let me test it again. All right, you ready? Bang it with ya and take your picture. Need me so horny. Love for school skin. Ooh, I like that. Okay, now I figured it out. I have figured out YouTube's algorithm. I know how to defeat it now. Oh, man, my fucking neck.
Your neck is fine. Your neck sucks.
It fucking hurts. Actually, it's not too... yeah, it does hurt. I was going to say it's not too bad. Why am I minimizing it? Why am I saying that it's not too bad when it is? It hurts. Because that's what I do. I minimize things. But I'm not afraid to offend anybody. I'm really not. I'm just... I'm out here telling... I'm a truth teller. And that's what I'm a truth teller, and that's kind of... Thank you. I thank you for saying it's quality entertainment. You're lying, but thank you. See, why am I minimizing that? Why can't I just take a compliment? But let's see. I got a couple minutes here, so I just want to give a shout out to everybody's listening. That was my shout out to everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you. And I fucking got a wedgie. And
Knack.
it's weird. It just feels weird. Oh man. Shout out. All right, let's try one more. Let's see if I can let's see if I can defeat the algorithm. I think I'll call it defeat the algorithm. So let me try one more thing, okay? Let me find the album. I know you're waiting. You're waiting for with bated breath. Okay, you ready? Let me skip to the. Whoops. Okay. Going down, Mr. Tyler. Ho ho ho. Yeah. Whoa. Gonna be a big tech talker. Whoa. Gonna be a millionaire. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Gonna be a millionaire. Yo. Yeah. Get sounds like a lie. Now you can see something, honey. Read between the lines. Loving an elevator. Living it up while I'm going down. Oh, God.
Wedgie.
All right. I like all the ha-ha-has. That makes me feel good. So, anybody got any topics for next week? I'll be happy to. I went through most of my topics today. I thought, oh man, these are going to last me, because I've been putting an idea into my notes app on my Apple iPhone 7. that I did not get for free. I did from doing the show. I did not get for free, but it would be nice if they gave me some free stuff. So Apple, if you're listening, I'll take a iPhone, whatever. I think the newest one's the 11th. Right? The 11th, the iPhone 11th. I think that's the best one so far. So, all right. Well, I think that's it. I mean, I think it was a good experience had by all. I think everybody enjoyed it. I know I did. It was one of those things that I think I'll do again, and I will. I'll be back next week. Next week's my birthday, so I'll have a special birthday episode, and we'll have to. I'll have to sing myself happy birthday, and maybe not. I don't know. All right, everybody. Well, thanks a lot for tuning in, and we're going to go out with my placeholder theme music. Until next week, peace out, bro. Oh, 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 oh.